This is my raw edit week 51 from Fro Knows Photo. This is a photograph taken by Rosenberg. He is a painter that takes photographs and paints from his photographs. I have not seen his work yet, so I don't know his style or what I'm getting into here. But as a painter myself, the first thing I'm thinking is I don't want to change the composition. I like the full table there. It looks like he's looking across the table at me, and I like that distance. If I were to crop it, I'd be closer up to him, and he seems a little grumpy, and I think he needs to be further away. With that said, I'll keep the composition, but yes, I do want to, I'll clone out these various things on each side. I almost wish that the table was a cluttered mess. More difficult to paint. It would be like a still life. Okay, so I like the texture of the table too. That would be really cool to paint. Alright, so from painting 1, painting 2, drawing 1, drawing 2, the best way to see volume in the subject is to have one direct light source. I think it's called chiaroscuro or something. So I'm going to edit this picture and try to make it look like there's a really strong light source coming in right side, the subject's left side. Okay. I'm going to turn the exposure up a little bit, but I don't want to lose detail. I'm not going to do the fill light at all. Contrast. A lot of pink in his face. I'm going to turn the magenta saturation down a little bit. And you know what? It's okay that his face is a little red, because I think, like, I don't want to say this, I'm probably way off on this, but I'm thinking alcoholics sometimes have reddish purple noses, and he's drinking out of a rocks glass here, so, which, by the way, I'm going to turn up the clarity. That way I see the texture in the table more, the edge of the glass, and his wrinkly face and everything. I'm going to do the fill light a little bit so the side of his face isn't completely dark. Are we level? Yeah, it's pretty level. Oh, and I'm working with the TIFF file because I couldn't figure out how to bring, what was it, an NEF file into Lightroom. It wouldn't let me do it. So let's see, what else do I want to do? I'm going to get rid of these things in Photoshop. I like the muted background. I don't want to bring anything forward. I brought up the fill light a little more, contrast a little more. See, as a painting, I think I might like that just how it is. I might burn the ice cubes in the glass so I can get more detail. I think I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. Okay, before I bring it into Photoshop, I'm going to turn the temp up a little bit and bring my saturation down just a little bit, and the contrast up. My blacks up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to bring it into Photoshop. Okay, so now I have it open in Photoshop. Okay, I don't know how to do the picture-in-picture thing, so I'm just going to close this. You don't need to see me anyway. Okay, let's see. I was going to do some dodging and burning. I'm going to use this selection tool, grab this cup, and I'm gonna play with the gamma, or maybe in my highlights, and see if I can bring back some detail that might have been lost with that high ISO, 900 ISO. And I like that I have my Lightroom open because I can see side by side what I'm doing, what differences I'm making. Now I'm going to burn the shadows. I need a really small brush. I need a little bit bigger brush. Okay. I'm just going to burn some of the amber alcohol. You know, I don't even know that it's alcohol. Maybe it's ginger ale. I gotta stop assuming here. Okay. So you can see the difference in the ice cube, and when it comes to a painting, you want those details. Let's see. Let's get some shadows in this table. Take a bigger brush. I'm going to pause it while I look at it a minute. The reason I'm pausing it is because I can only make these videos 4 minutes long, and then I have to join them together. So let's see, I'll use the clone tool and see if I like what that does. And same thing over here. And that was the patch tool, I think it's called. I don't know, I'm still learning my tools. Okay. And I know I said I want this side dark. This is a little too dark. I can't see where his shirt ends and the background begins, so I'm going to select that area and turn down the shadows just enough so I can see the shirt. I got lots of noise. I have a nice noise reduction program that I would use if this were my photograph I was finishing. Maybe burn a little in the shirt. Midtones. Just get some more. That was too much. Turn down the exposure. Use a bigger brush. Just so I have more shape to these waves in the shirt. And again, I'm thinking of this as a painting, you know. Darken the shadows under here. Make that placemat really sit on the table. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I decided I'm going to take the dodge tool and dodge some of the highlights in his hair. I'm hoping it's giving it more texture, and I can also go in and burn the shadows. Make my brush smaller. I don't know if that's doing any good. Okay, so now I'm looking at it side by side next to what I've done so far in Photoshop. And I have a lot more to work with as far as lights and darks. Let me burn a little bit of this ashtray, midtones. And shadows under the ashtray. Make the shadow under his arm come out. You know what? I did that a little too dark. I gotta turn this down and make my brush bigger so it doesn't look like I'm drawing a line. I just want to make this shadow more noticeable of the, I don't know if it's a shadow of his arm or a fold in this fabric, but it's a detail and I like it there. Shadow of his arm on the table. Make that crack show up a little more. And I'm still using the burning tool. I'm burning in shadows. And if I were to zoom in, I'm just going to play with the shadows in his hair, because I feel like I don't want his hair to be soft. He's such a gruff guy here that I feel like I want his hair to be just as textured. And dodge the highlights. Okay. And so as you can see the side by side, I did make more lights and darks in his hair, but I don't want him to be blonde by dodging and burning. Probably the burning, I made it yellow, so I'm just going to select that area and desaturate it a little bit. Image, adjustment, saturation. And I can choose the yellow and just desaturate the yellow. There. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing over here where it kind of looks yellow-green. Oh, it's saying you can't, you know, whatever. Okay, then I'll leave it how it is. Also, I can select his eyes. Okay, it's not letting me select his eyes because the file's too small. So what I can do is I can dodge the shadows in his eyes a little bit. I don't want to make the whites of his eyes powerful because that always looks fake. What I'm trying to do is actually lighten the darks. Make the brush a little smaller. There. Now I could see some reflections he's got in the dark areas of his eye, which would be really cool in a painting. Okay. Maybe I went a little too light with that one eye. Okay, one last thing I'm going to do with the dodge tool with my midtones and a pretty big brush. I'm just going to go over his face a little bit to bring a little more light in his face. And that's it. I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, I did decide to crop this. So I still have the full table, but I'm going to lose some of the dead space at the top. And that's it. I'm keeping it just like that. No more. Not touching it anymore. Thanks for watching.